Well, all flights were canceled today at Louis Armstrong International Airport.
Tomorrow's decisions about flights have not been announced yet, but we are joined tonight by Communications Director Aaron Burns at the airport. So, Aaron, how are conditions out at the airport, and what are we thinking about tomorrow?
Good evening. Yes, as you mentioned, all flights today were canceled, and airlines are assessing and evaluating when they can resume operations. So most of them have continued their official cancellations into the morning, and they are trying to resume operations in the afternoon. Of course, this is still a very fluid situation. So in the morning, they're going to evaluate the conditions here in New Orleans and determine if they can operate again tomorrow. But safety, of course, is the top priority, so they are not going to operate unless it's absolutely safe to do so.
What are the conditions that they're looking at? What goes into making those decisions?
Well, of course, the conditions of the runway. If the runway is safe and the FAA has cleared them to use the runways, staffing is important. They've got to make sure that their staff can get over here to the airport. Unfortunately, we do have a lot of dedicated airport workers who will do everything they can to get things back up and running again.
You know, I've lived in situations, and Katie has as well, in places where airports usually get snow and ice in those areas. Is there an effort to maybe de-ice planes, or do they have any of those efforts of getting snow plows over to the airport as well?
Yeah, so each of the airlines are individually responsible for their de-icing operations for their aircraft, and our airlines are capable of some de-icing operations. As an airport in the southern United States, like most other airports in the South, we do not have snow plows or anything like that on hand. And that's just not something that we would have, given that this is a historic event that we only see once every 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, so there's no way to clear the runways, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So has there been, like we just heard that the city of New Orleans has contracted out some snow plows and things like that. Are those headed to the airport?
We are working closely with the city of New Orleans to see if we can get, there's a specialized equipment that would be needed for the airport. So if that's something that can be available, we're in close contact with the city of New Orleans and partners with the state. So we're making every effort to try to make that happen, or get the runways cleared so we can get flights back operating again.
Now, once those do start running again, what's the backlog going to look like in getting people out? We heard from some tourists that some of the airlines even pushed flights back 2 days, on the front end of this because they knew that's how long it was going to take. But just wondering what we're looking at there.
Yeah, typically when something like this happens, it does take some time for normal operations to resume. Sometimes passengers make other arrangements, but we just advise everyone to be patient. This is a once-in-a-lifetime type of snow event, and we've been through hurricanes before, we've been through different types of weather incidents, and we just do our best to try to get back up and running and operating normally. We understand how important it is for the airport as a statewide transportation asset. We need to get back up and running early so that the region can continue to recover. So.
Can you share with a lot of people who are watching now who may not be familiar as to how to check in on their flight or how to look? We've spoken with some people who are visitors to our area, so might not necessarily be familiar as to what to do in this situation.
Right. So we are keeping updates running on our website at flymsy.com. And as we get updates from the airlines about their plans for their flight operations, we put that up there. There's a link to the airline contact information on our website as well. When there's a weather event like this, most airlines will issue travel advisories that will allow passengers to rebook their flights without any added penalties. So, check your emails with your airline, call your airlines. That's going to be the best source of information about your flight because they're the ones who are going to have the most accurate.
All right, Aaron Burns with MSY, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and we'll check back in with you tomorrow morning to see how things are progressing.
Thank you very much. You guys stay safe.